Hello, Brian the Fanboy here, and today I'm gonna talk about Green Arrow. Now, I first learned about Green Arrow when me and the other students in my fifth grade class were given each a same issue of a comic book, which had it was more like a history of the early first decade of the 20th century, and there were superheroes, DC Comics superheroes who were hosting several parts of the comic book, events. And one of the heroes was Green Arrow. So, in his small bio from that comic book, all I remember was that he said that he took on a Robin Hood identity. But also, I was 12 years old when I first learned about Green Arrow. Now, the first time I saw Green Arrow on TV was in the first episode of Justice League Unlimited, which was a continuation of the Justice League cartoon that started in 2001. I was a teenager at the time and still in high school. And in that episode, Green Arrow he was invited to join, but was reluctant because he wanted to do as he said, look out for the little guy, not fight against the monsters. And then after one adventure, he was asked if he would reconsider, and at first he was still wasn't sure, but then decided to give it a chance when he first saw Black Canary. I'll talk more about her in a third video. Oh yeah, also about Black Canary, yes, also during the series run, she became Green Arrow's girlfriend. Now, as for Green Arrow, I, I also learned that he had a sidekick named Speedy. I think I first introduced to him in an episode of Teen Titans. And then he appeared in an episode of Justice League Unlimited, but there was only one episode. And then I saw, in the first time I saw Green Arrow in live action was in the series Smallville. And that's the series where I learned his real name, Oliver Queen. And well, during his first appearances, he would appear in a few episodes at first, and but he was played by Justin Hartley. And on season six, he'll be great as special guest. Yeah, but eventually he became a series regular. Also, in one of the later seasons, he became a mentor to a girl named Mia, and and he trained her. You know. Also, well, the next time I saw Green Arrow outside Smallville was an episode of the Batman cartoon. I mean, this was the first season, but he appeared alongside with Hawkman, The Flash, and Green Lantern. And then there was an episode where he and Batman team up. Oh yeah, I forgot about Smallville Green Arrow. He was played by Justin Hartley. And an interesting thing about it is because he originally was supposed to play Aquaman, Arthur Curry, for a Aquaman TV series. Of course, only one episode was filmed; they never aired. But you could see if it's available online, or you have the Smallville DVD box set. You can watch that as well. It's on there, some other special features. Oh, wow. Another series where Green Arrow appeared was in Batman: The Brave and the Bold, and he made a multiple appearance during the series run. And also, the way he looked in the series was similar to his first appearance in the comic books. And I also saw this small Green Arrow series. It was to be a special feature for Smallville Series 6 DVD. It's about his time at the island, you know. Of course, there was an episode of Smallville that kind of didn't show that. But anyway, oh yeah, then eventually I learned about Green Arrow's comic book history. And it was from this short documentary that's available in the Smallville Season 6 DVD special features. And yes, well, I learned that he first appearance was in Morphin Comics, issue number 38. Both he and Speedy were in yeah, first appearance together in that issue, and it was in the year 1941. And I also learned that Speedy's real name was Roy Harper. Yeah. And also, there was a time when the one Green Arrow was made, but then eventually was brought back, and he's what do he look changed? You see, he still have that Robin Hood inspired costume. I mean, some changes, but you know, he still looks like Robin Hood. Only difference is that he had facial hair this time around. And I think it was during the Silver Age of comics. And I think was learning that back in the 1970s that there was a series where he and Green Lantern, the Hal Jordan version, would team up at one time. However, even though you know they would thanks to fight come together, they will also have opposite views on certain issues. And then well, there was one issue I learned where Green Lantern, Lantern told Arrow that if he was so righteous, then why is his psychic on drugs? And then there was an image of Green Arrow being shocked because when he learned that his psychic became a junkie. And well, from what I learned, this was a big deal back then because there was the comic book goes and drugs weren't allowed, but then this played in part, and comic book companies started to not follow those rules anymore. And then I started watching the TV show Arrow, which was came at least 1 year after the the series finale of Smallville, and the main character was played by Stephen Amell, of course, and we introduced two other characters like his parents and also his sister Thea Queen, who well in the comic books Queen never had a sister, but I think she was supposed to be like a like a replacement for Speedy, and Roy Harper he appeared in that series as well. Oh, and I forgot to mention about the history of the comic books. Well, I learned that well supposedly he died in one of the issues. Maybe it was around the 90s, and then it was in a documentary I was talking about, and he was placed by this guy named Connor Hawk, who was supposed to be the son that Oliver had with he had with a girl he knew in college. And when Green Arrow died, well, Connor Hawk, got in his legacy. And when I saw the image of Connor Hawk as Green Arrow, I remember the image because that was the image where I first learned about Green Arrow. So thankfully, the Green Arrow wasn't. introduced to originally was actually the Connor Hawk Green Arrow, not Oliver Queen. So it took me that long, to finally learn who that was. So as for Speedy, well, with Roy, he stopped being Speedy for a while and was replaced by a girl named Mia. In Yeah, she became Speedy, and also in the Arrow TV show, Mia, once she learned about Oliver being Green Arrow, who was at first was called the Vigilante, then the Arrow, and now Green Arrow, well, she became Speedy since that was a nickname that Oliver gave her back when they were growing up. And Roy Harper, well, in the show he became Arsenal. I also learned in the comic books that Roy also went by the name Red Arrow. So we had Speedy, Arsenal, and Red Arrow. And also in the New 52, well, when I started reading those comic book series, he looked a bit more like the way he did in Smallville. Not, I think that was where it inspired from because he was supposed to be younger in the New 52, but then his facial hair came back in, some a few years afterwards. Another part about the character's comic book history is that, Oliver had a romantic relationship with Black Canary, Dinah Lance. And it was shown before, like in yeah, in Justice League, and there was also a yeah, oh yes, an Arrow, and of course an Arrow she was called Dinah Laurel Lance, but she was called Laurel, and they had a relationship for a while, but then it ended. Let's see, yes, now back to Green Arrow. Oh yeah, yeah, and also in the comic books they got married, and also Green Arrow happened in other media as well. So yes, and as for the Arrow TV series, I I don't know which season I stopped watching it, but I stopped watching it after one of the crossovers because that along with other CW superhero shows going on at the time because they went too far with something. But anyway, yes. So if I ever watch anything with Green Arrow again, it'll be a speed the old stuff before Arrow. So yes, I think that's all I can say about Green Arrow in this video. And also, please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel because it will help me a lot. And also, please share this video on social media like Facebook, Twitter, or whatever. So that's it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.